Pawn to d4. Knight to f6. Pawn to c4. Pawn to g6. Pawn to f3. Indian defense. Anti-Grunfeld. Report played the same setup against Prague recently in the Urchus Cup. It looks like an accelerated Samisch. Pawn to e6. Pawn to e4. Black is looking for a Benoni-like pawn structure. Pawn to c5. Pawn to d5. Pawn to d6. Knight to c3. Bishop to g7. Bishop to g5, pinning the knight that defends the central squares. Pawn to h6. Bishop to e3. The hit-and-run strategy. White didn't lose a tempo, because black has weakened a bit the h3 pawn. Pawn to d5. Pawn to d5. And we have a Benoni where white has played f3. One of the advantages for black is that the g4 knight didn't reach the c4 square to attack the backward d6 pawn. Pawn to a6, controlling b5 and preparing the queenside expansion. Pawn to a4. King to g8. Queen to d2. Rook to e8, a great move, tactically defending the h6 pawn. White to play, what to move? If bishop to h6, a dubious move. Knight to e4, a great move. And black has a good position. Bishop to e2 was played in the game. Pawn to h5. Pawn to h3. This move weakens the dark squares of white's queen side. Perhaps the idea was to prepare g4. Pawn to h4, an interesting move, fixing the h2 gram 3 pawns. Black plans to defend tactically the overextended h4 pawn. This is move 13 and we have a brand new position. There are no games in the Lichess Masters database from here. Bishop to g5. Knight to d7. White to play, what to move? If bishop to h4, a mistake. And black has the advantage. Bishop to d3 was played in the game, freeing the e2 square for the knight and overprotecting the e4 pawn. Knight to e5. Knight to e2. Queen to b6. Black is again preparing a trick. Can you spot it? White to play, what to move? If pawn to a5, a mistake. Rook to b1 was played in the game. White could also prevent the trick simply by castling short. Queen to b4, adding another tactical factor. The queens are looking at each other, X-raying the c3 knight. Black's queen enters the tiger den and she is looking for trouble. Stockfish thinks this move is in inaccuracy. Black's queen doesn't have too much mobility. King to g1. Bishop to d7. Pawn to b3. Rook to c8. Bishop to c2. According to Stockfish, white has the advantage here. However, black has managed to introduce many tactical factors. Black to play. Pause the video and find the move that sets fire on the board. Tick-tack, tick-tack. Hopefully you got it. The idea is to use the X-rays of the C-file, the weakness of the A7 gram 1 diagonal, and awaken the dark square's dragon. Pawn to c4, an interesting move. Opening the c-file and clearing the a7 g1 diagonal. A double-edge move. Black sacrifices 2 pawns to activate her pieces. King to h1. The monarch feels the danger of the dangerous open diagonal. Pawn to b3. Rook to b3. Queen to a5. Rook to b7. Always grab the free pawn, says White. Knight to h5, opening the first gate to let the g7 dragon shoot fire. Bishop to h4. White has played reasonable moves and is 2 pawns up. Black to play. If you want to train your calculation, pause the video and find the best move. Tick-tack, tick-tack. Hope you got it right. Knight to c4, a great move, opening the second gate with tempo over White's queen. Queen to d3. Bishop to c3. Queen to c3. Queen to c3. Knight to c3. Knight to e3. All black pieces coordinated harmoniously. Rook to f2. Rook to c3. Rook to d7. Knight to c2. Rook to d6. Knight to e3. Perfect equilibrium. White grabbed 3 pawns for the piece. Stockfish evaluates this position as 0.0. Pawn to g4, a mistake. Pawns can't move backward. The players are reaching time trouble and White rushed pushing this pawn. Knight to f4. King to h2. Knight to d1. Bishop to f6. A good move, building the wooden shield. Rook to d3. Rook to f1. Knight to e3. Rook to b1, a blunder. White is collapsing. The rook dreams of delivering checkmate on the first rank, but leaves the king's side to his own luck. Knight to c4. Double attack. Rook to d8. Rook to d8. Bishop to d8. Black to play. What to move? If knight to e5, a great move. Knight to b1, black is winning. A beautiful knight maneuver. King to g7, a obvious move, was played in the game. The idea is to remove the f6 square from the bishop and to prevent checks on the first rank. Bishop to g5. The last blunder, White places the bishop in a forkable square. Knight to d2. Bishop to f4. Knight to b1. A brilliant game by Vaishali. Black played very sharp from the opening, countering the accelerated Samisch with the Benoni. Black overextended the h-pawn and defended it tactically. Then her queen infiltrated on the enemy's camp and started to introduce tactical factors on the c-file and the long dark squares diagonal. White was alert, defended against all the tactical threats and played very logical and solid chess. However, Black opened the position and set fire on the board. All Black's pieces coordinated harmoniously, and as a result Black won 1 minor piece, but lost 3 pawns. The position was equal, but Black was still attacking, and during time trouble White couldn't control the jumps of the horses.